السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله على إحسانه وشكر له على تفضله وامتنانه، ولا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشأنه، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله داعي إلى رضوانه وعلى آله وأصحابه وإخوانه. أما بعد. إخواني في الله, we are continuing with our lecture series regarding the history of the Muslims in Spain and Portugal, the history of the Muslims in Andalus, a history that started from the year 92 of the Hijri calendar to the year 897 of the Hijri calendar. Over 800 years of our history. We need to know it because it's even about 2/3 of the history that we have had as Muslims upon this earth. Ikhwani fillah, in the previous lectures, we mentioned one man who was the most wanted man in the entire world. He came to Andalus by himself, conquered Andalus, and ensured that Islam remained in the lands of Andalus for the next 750 years. Tonight, inshallah, also we shall look at one man who brought a lot of things to Andalus that can appear as civilization or good, but it eventually led to the destruction of the people of Andalus and led to the loss of Andalus. This is our lecture for tonight, inshallah. Ikhwani fillah, so far we have taken the Muslims conquered Andalus from the year 92 to the year 95 of the Hijri calendar. This is the period of conquest. I don't know if you can memorize dates. From the year 92 to the year 95. From the year 96 to the year 138 is the period that is known in Andalus history as the period of the governors. From the year 96 to the year 138 is known as the period of governors. Then came the first leader from the Umayyad, the first leader from the Bani Umayyad to enter Andalus. What's his name? Abdul Wahab? Abu Bakr? Abdurrahman al-Dakhil. It's called Abdurrahman al-Dakhil, entered in the year 138 of the Hijri calendar. It's called al-Dakhil, the one who entered, because it's the first from the rulers from the Bani Umayyah, from the royal family of the Khilafah, that entered the land of Andalus. This man, Khanifillah, we mentioned, he led the Muslims in Andalus from the year 138 to the year 172 of the Hijri calendar. 34 years of glory and strength for the Muslims. After Abdurrahman al-Dakhil passed away, the leader of the Muslims after is who? Who knows? Today at least. Who knows, inshallah? We did last week. Hisham, the son of Abdurrahman al-Dakhil, became the leader of the Muslims from the year 172 to the year 180 of the Hijri calendar. 8 years of glory and strength for the Muslims also. They used to compare him to Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah. From the year 180 of the Hijri calendar to the year 206, who was the leader? Al-Hakam, the son of Al-Hakam, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdurrahman al-Dakhil. So he passed away in the year 206, and he had made a lot of mistakes. But he repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he chose his best son, even if it wasn't the oldest son, to become the leader of the Muslims in the land of Andalus from the year 206. He chose his son, who's called Abdurrahman the second. So Abdurrahman, the son of Akram, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdurrahman al-Dakhil. So this became the new leader of the Muslims from the year 206 to the year 238. We mentioned that this Islamic Emirate of Andalus was from the year 138 of the Hijri calendar to the year 316 of the Hijri calendar. From the year 138 to the year 316 of the Islamic calendar. From the year 138 to the year 238 is the period of strength for the Muslims in Andalus. Ahdul Quwwa, this is when the Muslims are very strong. So tonight we begin our history from the year 206 to the year 238, where the leader of the Muslims is Abdurrahman the second, who is known Abdurrahman al-Awsat. This man was a great leader. The first thing he started taking care of was regards the affairs of the scholars. So scholars became so many scholars during his time. Ilm became so prominent in the society of Andalus. And one of the most famous scholars is a man called Abu al-Abbas ibn Firnas. This is the first man in history who tried aviation, who tried gliding and to fly. Ibn Firnas. First man in history who tried that. Also, he is the one who invented the magnifying glass for people to use as lenses. Muslims, those days, subhanAllah, you look at the history of the Muslims, a scholar is not only a scholar in fiqh, Arabic language. You find he's a scholar in fiqh, Arabic language, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics. So many fields you find them. Amongst them was this man, Ibn Firnas, during this time. Also, the leader of the Muslims, Abdurrahman the Thani, he built the foundation of the great library of Cordoba. As you shall look at later, every single house in Cordoba, the capital city of Andalus, they had a library. So there was a reading culture. There was no illiterate people in the land of Andalus. So much so that the handwriting, the best handwriting of the people that was known all over the world was the women of Andalus. The women of Andalus had the best handwriting. Those days there was no photocopy machine. There was no printing machine. So if you have your Sahih Bukhari, you go take it to one of the ladies or one of the Nassakh, one of the photocopiers, they write by hand. And the people who had the best handwriting are the women of Andalus. So knowledge, Ikhwani Fillah, gained a lot of prominence in the Muslim society of Andalus. And many scholars from many parts of the world started traveling to Andalus to spread their knowledge there. So knowledge increased. Number two, he started developing the cities and the engineering and the infrastructure. Ikhwani Fillah, in the year 206, 210, those periods there were paved roads. The Muslims had roads that were paved. They had streets. They had bridges to Jannah that was created in this dunya. And this is one of the amazing things. I don't know if the Arabs, they read the Quran, then they tried to create Jannah in this dunya. These people, they did that. They tried to create this Jannah in this world. And that is the great civilization that they built, the civilization of Andalus. This man continued with the jihad against the kingdom of Leon. The small cancer that we mentioned before, the Muslims did not conquer at the time of Musa bin Husayr. It grew, it became a kingdom known as the kingdom of Leon. Also in the previous lecture we mentioned that we lost the city of Barcelona. It also became a kingdom of Aragon. Also sometimes when you read some of the books they write in our time, like the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, there's another one called Quirnania. You see all these names, Aragon, you see Navarre. You don't click, but once you start reading history, then you know this is something related to the history of the Muslims and them in Spain. It's not names out of fiction. It's names that are there. Even if you look like a book like Robin Hood. We read the book Robin Hood. Robin Hood used to steal from the rich and give to the poor. If you read that story, you'll find that was the king who was not there. The person who was ruling on behalf of the king. Who was that king? Richard the Lionheart. Where was he? He was in Palestine. He was in Jerusalem in the Crusades fighting Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. So some of these things, yes, you might think these books are fiction, but they have an agenda behind it. They are throwing some information inside there for you to glorify their history or to justify their history. There's always an agenda with many of these books. Sometimes in our century right now, they want to propagate when it comes to these issues of LGBTQ, transgender, he, she, them, they. There's always an agenda with these books. So don't think these books of fiction are just written out of fiction. If you look thoroughly, you'll see references that refer to things that insult Islam or talk negatively about Islam or something of that sort. You'll always find, if you're thorough, you'll find. So, Ikhwani Fillah, the Muslims developed Andalus during this time, Abdurrahman Thani. Then, Ikhwani Fillah, in the year 230 of the Hijri calendar, a great calamity befell the Muslims. People that have never been seen in the land of Andalus appeared from nowhere. 54 ships appeared from the lands of Scandinavia. Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. This was a barbaric society, a society known as the Vikings. Brutal people, they massacre people. Most of you must have watched the history, the movies or the series, whatever, or the books. You know about these people. They were barbarians. They massacre people. They were pagans. They did not worship any lord. They worship whatever they worship. So they landed through the Atlantic. They entered the city of Sevilla, Ishbilia. They entered that city, and they spread fasad. They took all the money they could get, all the wealth. They burnt all the houses. They violated the rights of all the women they could find of Andalus, and they destroyed the city completely. 54 ships landed from Nordsman, from the Vikings. Then they went to the city of Ashbona, Murcia, Almeria, and they spread a lot of fear and terror on the hearts of the Muslims of Andalus. Who are these people that have appeared? We have never experienced such likes of people. So Abdurrahman al-Awsat, he declared the jihad upon these people. He started وَحَرِّذِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلَى الْقِتَالِ. He calls the people to fight these enemies of Allah that have landed on the lands of Andalus to spread fasad. So the Muslims, they gathered a great army and they fought these people with difficulty over 100 days of fighting. And alhamdulillah, they managed to expel them in the year 231 or 230 therein. And they expelled these people. Abdurrahman al-Awsat, he took a great lesson from this. He is the leader. He is the one that is going to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about every single person in Andalus. And you, when you seek leadership position, don't think it's an easy thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask you, every single person that's under your dominion, that's under your responsibility, did you deliver to those people? So for example, you're the MP or the governor of an area. You shall be asked about the poor people, the widows, the orphans, the ones who slept hungry, the ones who slept without medicine. You shall be asked about every single person. So you only enter this position of governor or senator or MP or political leadership, it is as if you have taken a knife and you're stabbing yourself. You're the one who's killing yourself. Why? Because you shall be held accountable for all these people. So Abdurrahman al-Awsat, he feels this responsibility. And he says, number one, as Muslims, I have to fortify the city of Ishbilia. This city of Sevilla, I have to fortify it. And he makes great fortresses that no army can enter the city of Ishbilia ever. It becomes the most fortified city. Before the city of Toledo was the most fortified. Now the city of Ishbilia became the most fortified. Thereafter, Ikhwani Fillah, he forms a navy. One navy in the Atlantic and one navy in the Mediterranean. You know, Spain is there, so there's the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. So he needs a navy in the south to protect the Muslims, and a navy towards the west, the Atlantic, to protect also the Muslims. So this navy in the Atlantic protects the Muslims until the lands near France. This one in the Atlantic protects the Muslims until the lands near Italy. So alhamdulillah, he made the army stronger, and he, mashallah, the Muslims gained a lot of strength during his time. He increased the size of the mosque in Cordoba. He made the new mosque in Ishbilia, Sevilla, which later on, subhanallah, turned into a church. It's still right now a cathedral. You see the mosque with its minarets, with its arcs and every Islamic design, but it's now a cathedral. If you pray there, you're going to be arrested. So he, mashallah, he did this from the year 206 to the year 238 of the Hijri calendar. Then he died. His son became the new leader of the Muslims. Muhammad became the new leader of the Muslims. Let's see the memorization of people. Muhammad, the son of Abdurrahman the second, the son of Akram, the son of Hisham, the son of Abdurrahman al-Dakhil. He became the new leader of the Muslims. This is the period of weakness in Andalus, from the year 238 to the year 300. 62 years of weakness. Why were the Muslims very weak during this period? Number one, ikhwani fillah, ad-dunya. They became so wealthy, the Muslims, that the budget of this country was 1 million dinar, the highest budget in the entire world. 1,000 gold coins. A dinar, ikhwani fillah, is about 4 grams. 4 grams right now is about $60. Let's do this calculation. 4 grams is about a gram is about $60. So 4 grams, $240. So 1 million dinar is about $240 million during those times. If you do inflation to our days now, it's $1 trillion, or it's even bigger than the budget of America. So they had a lot of wealth. So much wealth, so much commerce, that there was not a single beggar in the lands of Andalus. No one was going around asking for money. There's so much money everywhere. Then one man from the east, he came, and he changed everything in Andalus. Prophet ﷺ tells us that he does not fear for us for poverty. Poverty is not a problem for you Muslims. لا فقر أخشى عليكم ولكن أخشى عليكم أن تبسط عليكم الدنيا كما بسطت على من كان قبلكم فتنافسوا فيها فتهلككم كما أهلكتهم. That this dunya will become so much, this competition of building the tallest buildings and most money in the bank account, it becomes the prime competition amongst Muslims, and they compete nothing else apart from who is wealthier than the other. With this preoccupation, it will destroy them like it destroyed the nations before them. So the Andalus people, the wealth became so much. Then they got this man that they considered a blessing, but he was a blessing in disguise. This man is called Ziryab. Until this day, the people of North Africa, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, this name is popular with them. This man called Ziryab. One man, this man, he was brought up in the house of the Khalifa. He was taught music and other forms of entertainment by one of the great entertainers at the time called Ishaq al-Mawsili. So Ishaq al-Mawsili takes him to the Khalifa. Says, Khalifa, this boy knows how to sing. So he starts singing so well to the Khalifa that this teacher fears for his job. He says, the Khalifa prefers this boy singing over mine, and I am the teacher. Says, you young man, either you leave this place or I'm going to kill you. I'm going to massacre you. You're taking my job away from me. I am the musician of the Khulafa, of the royal family in Baghdad at the time. So this man, he looks, where do I go? Do I go to Syria? Do I go to Iraq? So let me just go east. I might find some risk there. So he leaves Iraq, this man. His name is Ali ibn Nafi' al-Musili, Ziryab. He leaves Iraq, ikhwani fillah, and he lands on the shores of Andalus when the leader of the Muslims, the new leader of the Muslims is Abdurrahman al-Awsat. He starts singing to them, and people start to be preoccupied with music, and music enters the heart of the people of Andalus. And when music enters, ikhwani fillah, everything of khair lives. Everything of khair. الَّذِينَ يَشْتَرُونَ لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. It says, يَشْتَرُونَ لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. The music, Quran does not exist in the same heart as music. If you listen to music, you will hardly listen to Quran. So the people of Andalus, they start living Quran slowly. Number two, they start living the stories of the Salaf Salih, of the righteous Muslims before them. They don't listen to this. The Seerah, the scholars, there's so many in the land of Andalus, but we don't want to listen. This Ziryab has brought something new. So he sings everywhere, and his music is lovely music. He brings to them new instruments they've never seen. He creates for them new musical instruments, and that becomes the focus of the people of Andalus. Entertainment, dunya. So number one, is their focus is music. And music, ikhwani fillah, according to the correct opinion of the majority of scholars, it's haram. Number two, ikhwani fillah, he starts telling them stories. He makes stories, like the Arabian Nights, 1001 Nights. He tells them stories of fiction and such stories. People become preoccupied with this music. Number three, ikhwani fillah, he starts giving them forms of fine dining. Fine dining etiquette. Tells them, you people of Andalus, you're doing things wrong. Let me teach you how to be civilized. And this also enters Europe. He says, no, you can't have food like animals. You have to sit in a particular manner, face a particular direction. You have to have 3 types of tissues on the table: a tissue for your face, a tissue for your hands, a tissue for your lips when you're eating. Then the first thing that should be brought is the starter. You have to have soup. Starter is there, 3-course meal. You have to have starters. You have to have, after starters, you have a main course where you have your starch, your vegetables, your meat and everything. Then after that, you have your fruits or your nuts, dessert. So 3-course meal, 5-course meal, 7-course meal. This is the one teaches them. Then tells them, what's wrong with you guys? You're wearing the same clothes every day. No. We have to have collections. There's a spring collection, the autumn collection, the summer collection, a winter collection. You don't wear the same clothes in the summer that you wore in the winter. You don't wear the same clothes you wore last year, this year. Every time we have to create new fashion. So, fashion. He says, when you go for weddings, there's particular clothes. When you go for night dinners, you have a particular cloth. So people, the focus on the people of Andalus is music, the types of food dining, the types of clothing, the etiquette. He teaches them, this is how you should sit, this is how you should position. Like those European hotel executives, how they teach you how to walk, this is how you should talk. And he changes everything in society. So this becomes the primal focus of the people of Andalus, ikhwani fillah. And this man, even after Andalus was destroyed, people are still listening to his music. To date, his instruments are still popular today. So the Muslims of Andalus, ikhwani fillah, definitely became preoccupied with this. And the third reason, ikhwani fillah, is betrayers that appear from the ummah of the Muslims. Ikhwani fillah, no enemy, take this as a rule, no enemy will ever be able to destroy the Muslims directly. They have to attack them indirectly by keeping cancers and viruses in the society. So there's a virus that was kept in this society, a man called Umar ibn Hafsun. So Abdurrahman al-Awsat, he led the Muslims from there 206 to 238. Then his son Muhammad led the Muslims from there 238 to the year 273. When the leader of the Muslims in Andalus was this man Muhammad, this man Umar ibn Hafsun, he's from Hafsun. If you hear Hafsun, Waw and Noon, or Abdus, Waw and Sin, this is a person who was a native of Andalus. These are people of Andalus who became Muslim. So in the year 264, this person was a bandit. He used to steal from people. He starts a revolution in the south, and he conquers all the cities in the south, the cities of Granada, the old prophets of Granada, Almeria, all these places in the city, Murcia. He takes all these cities towards the south of Andalus. And there is now a revolution down there. The Christians in the north, there's a new kingdom called the Kingdom of Navarre. Now there are 3 kingdoms, Navarre, Leon, and Aragon. they start also attacking the Muslims from the north. What's happening? You look at North Africa, Ikhwani Fillah, North Africa has been taken, Morocco and this side has been taken by the Shi'as, the Fatimiyya, Dawla al-Fatimiyya, Dawla al-Ubaidiyya, the Ismailis, you know them, the Aga Khan. These people are extreme Muslims. They're not even the Shias don't call them Muslims. Even the Shias themselves don't accept them as Muslims. So these people, they massacre scholars. If you're a scholar of Sunnah, you're massacred. If you're finding Sahih Bukhari, you're massacred. If you pray the Taraweeh, you're killed. If your name is Abu Bakr Umar, you're killed. So it was so bad. This is the situation that this man is. The south, Umar ibn Hassan has taken the south. More south, Morocco, North Africa, where expects assistance, the Dawla al-Fatimiyya has taken over the Shias. This Dawla al-Fatimiyya is giving support to Umar ibn Hassan to attack the Sunnah that is in Andalus. Towards the north, the Christians, Leon, Navarre, Aragon, and Muslims are also, the same time, I don't know, wallahi Muslims sometimes, I don't know what's wrong with us. There's all these problems, but we don't focus on those problems, we start fighting each other. So there are also revolutions. How will Islam survive in this land, Ikhwani Fillah? This was a situation of the Muslims in the year 300. Also, the crown prince at the time, it was Muhammad, the son of Abdurrahman. Muhammad passed away in the year 273. The new leader of the Muslims became Al-Mundhir from the year 273 to the year 275. From 275 to the year 300, the leader of the Muslims was Abdullah, his brother. Abdullah, the son of Muhammad, the son of Abdurrahman, the son of Hakam, Hisham, Lam Talha. So Abdullah became the leader of the Muslims. The crown prince, his crown prince was killed, Muhammad Abdullah. Who killed the crown prince? Who can guess? His own brother. His own brother killed his brother because of a sit. And this recurs so many times in Islamic history. Well, sometimes you read Islamic history, these are not Muslims. Well, you're shocked. Brother kills brother. Father kills son. Son kills father. You're wondering, what is this of a dunya that people are competing? But this is reality that what happened at the time. So the crown prince has been killed. This man, Umar ibn Hafsun, the rebel, Ikhwani Fillah, that has started fighting his rebellion from the south, he does something that does not appear except very rare in Islamic history. In the year, I think the year 276 or so, after about 20 years or something from his revelation, he declares that I'm no longer Umar ibn Hafsun, my name from now on is Samuel. He says, my name is Samuel. He became a Christian. And this is something very rare. To find a Muslim turn into a Christian, it's something very rare. You can find a Muslim becoming an atheist. But a Muslim becoming a Christian, it's something very rare in our history. Because that's like I don't know. So this is the challenge, Ikhwani Fillah, that the Muslims are facing during this period of weakness that happened from the year 238 to the year 300. Then, Ikhwani Fillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you all Muslims another chance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought a miracle. One man, Ikhwani Fillah, was able to unite the entire of Andalus and make it the strongest empire, not only in Europe, but in the entire world. This man, up to today, he is known as the most powerful leader to ever rule Spain and Portugal, is this man, Ikhwani Fillah. And Muslims gained so much strength that this man declared himself the Khalif of the Muslims in the year 316 of the Hijri calendar. Who is this man, Ikhwani Fillah, that brought so much strength and power to the Muslims in the land of Andalus after this period of weakness? This is what we shall look at in our lecture tomorrow night. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.